Hello, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Cobalt Cafe. It's week number 282 of our series. Glad to have you here with us tonight. In addition to our open reading, our featured reader is Erin Mizrahi. Erin, really excited that you're here. I met Erin in Long Beach at a reading that we were both at a couple months ago. So really excited to continue hearing more of Erin's work and really excited for you to hear her as well. My name is Rick Lupert, by the way. I'm the MC of the shindig that we've got going on here, and happy to be here with you. If you would like to participate in the open reading and you haven't already done so, send me a message in the chat, and I will be happy to add you to the list. As always, it is 2 poems maximum in the open mic, and the suggested time limit is less is more. There you go. That's what I got to tell you about that. What else can I tell you? The chat room is available for you to interact with each other throughout the festivities, since everyone is muted out of an abundance of caution, vigilance against Zoom bombers. In case you're wondering why we have all these extra precautions, we're trying to prevent Zoom bombers from doing the thing that they do. So please have the chat room open so you can interact with each other as well as react to the poems that you're hearing being read, send each other private messages, whatever you might want to use a chat room for, there it is. And finally, we do have a 1 drink minimum here at the Cobalt Cafe. Make sure that you do have a beverage of some kind to help honor that long-standing tradition. All right, I think that is everything that I need to tell you before we get going with the rest of the festivities. I would like to ask if there are any questions. Cathabella, yes.
Rick, do you have a favorite kind of apple?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Oh, thank you. Sorry. My favorite kind of apple.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That does count as a second question, just so you know. But you deserve it.
Thank you.
My favorite kind of apple is Granny Smith, and I have half of one of those every day for
Wow.
lunch in the salad concoction that I put together.
Thank you. Great.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you for asking that. Good question. I see Martin Parker has a question.
Oh, good evening, Rick. I assume where you are, you've experienced an earthquake or three. Just wondering if you have a most memorable earthquake you've been involved with.
Yes. I don't know how many earthquakes I've experienced, but it has been a bunch of them. The one I remember the most was the 94 Northridge earthquake,
Mhm.
because I was living in the San Fernando Valley at the time, where the Cobalt Cafe, in fact, used to exist. It was 4:31 in the morning, I think. And uh, I think the only reason that I woke up is because the fish tank water that was next to me, where I had a goldfish named Skeletor swimming around happily, the water splashed out of the tank onto my face, and I think that's what actually woke me up. And then there was a lot of other things I remember about that. Because it was a pretty big
Yeah.
deal, and it's the only earthquake I've been through where things actually fell, and it was a mess in our apartment.
Wow. Yeah. Well, being where I am, I've only experienced one, and little things fell off the shelf. Just little tiny things was all that fell. Yeah, it was an experience.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Good question. Thank you, Martin. Any other questions before we get going? Okay, well, let us get going then. 5 readers and then our featured reader, Erin Mizrahi. On deck, our second reader will be Ellen Thea. Please welcome now Christopher George. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, Rick. and everybody. As you all will know, there were two horrendous killings on the streets of Minneapolis during the past week. And I'm going to read two poems, one by myself and one by another poet. And my poem is about Renee Nicole Good, mother of three, slaughtered, as we can all see from the video, as was the second gentleman, a ICU nurse. And I was struck especially by the callousness of the man who shot her. After the shooting, in memory of Renee Nicole Good, 1987 to 2026, after he shot her, he calmly sauntered over to her wrecked car to survey the damage, then sauntered back, pronouncing the dead mother of three a fucking bitch. He'd shot her in the head. His bullets made a scarlet Jackson Pollock splurge of her blood on the inflated balloon meant to preserve her life. Excuse me, the life that he had so callously ended after she called to him, "I'm not mad at you." And I'll finish with this one by Poet Laureate of the United States, Amanda Gorman, for Alex Jeffrey Pretty, murdered by ICE, January 24th, 2026, by Amanda Gorman. We wake with no words, just woe and wound. Our own country shooting us in the back is not just brutality, it's jarring betrayal, not enforcement, but execution. A message: love your people and you will die. Yet our greatest threat isn't the outsiders amongst us, but those among us who never look within. Fear not those without papers, but those without conscience. Know that to care intensively, united, is to carry both pain, dark horror for today, and a profound, daring hope for tomorrow. We can feel we have nothing to give, and still we love this world, waiting, trembling to change. If we cannot find words, may we find the will. If we ever lose hope, may we never lose our humanity. The only undying thing is mercy, the courage to open ourselves like doors, hug our neighbor, and save one more bright, impossible life. Thanks, everyone.
Christopher, thank you. A powerful way to start our reading today, important things to be talking about. Thank you for using some of your time to share the work of another poet as well, Amanda Gorman. And thanks for being here. Round of applause for Christopher T. George. On deck is Tammy Haddis. Please welcome now Ellen Thea. Hello, Ellen.
Hi. I have one piece. I actually read it earlier today at another open mic I was at. So, Chris, I think you were there. So I'm sorry if you're going to hear it again. And I dropped this poem. I wrote this poem back in. Actually, I didn't. This was a co-created poem between me. I held the pen, but the creator wrote it. And I wrote it about 30 some years ago. And every time I've been saying now, and I've got the word, nah, not quite now. And last week, I finally dropped it, and I feel the need to do it again. This poem is called Weeping for Laodicea. Laodicea was one of the early churches. It's in Revelation 3. And if the word church bothers you, which I can appreciate, I've received permission to change the word church to people in your head. Okay? This is called Weeping for Laodicea. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. Oh, my children, I long to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks, yet you would have none of me, only Satan's tricks. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. Yet poor and blind and so weak, Laodicea says, I am rich and strong and see the Lord, yet you are not mine. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. I counsel you to buy from me gold refined the fire, white linen to wear, salve for your eyes, wedding feast attire. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. Behold, I knock. Behold, I come. Behold, even now I am here. Behold, I knock. Behold, I come. Behold, even now I am here. And I weep for Laodicea. Thank you.
Ellen, thank you. Dinner and a show is the first thing I like to say when someone sings their poems. To the point where I'm tired of myself repeating that comment, honestly. But I really enjoyed that, and music enhances everything. So it was beautiful, and thank you so much for bringing that to the table for us tonight.
Well, thank you.
Round of applause for Ellen Thea. On deck is Jeffrey Bryant. Please welcome Tammy Hattis. Hi, Tammy.
Hello. Excuse me. Get time to like exercise my voice. Okay, so this was prompted this by Brendan Constantine, who and probably most of you know. He told us to write about a baby where there wasn't supposed to be a baby. And I was trying to think, and what came to mind was one of many camp experiences I had that just was not pleasant. And so here we are. And I don't know what to do with this. I just wanted to share first, and then we'll see how to get this more in poem form. The Baby with Dentures. I am in the poetry section of the last bookstore where I find a brand new copy of Marge Piercy's The Moon is Always Female. I feel a tap on my shoulder. It's a man nearing his 40s. Hey, remember the miserable night where you thought I was going to give you rabies? He cracks a toothless smile. I excuse myself and go outside to smoke. I need time for things to shift in my brain and rethink the evening that transpired almost 40 years ago. Everyone camping had all thought he was a raccoon who could give us rabies, and he was closest to me near my sleeping bag. Doused in insect repellent, I was attracting all creatures, including bees and what I thought was a raccoon, but really was a baby. Thinking back, He was definitely a baby. We mistook his innocence for a long, ringed, bushy tail, and his pampers for a baggy bottom. We mistook his crying as if he were grieving for the dead, for a black mask around his eyes. We mistook his yellow knit booties for sharp adult claws and his cooing for screeching. We mistook his Bert and Ernie onesie for a brown furry coat on his belly, and his yellow crocheted cap for sharp pointed ears. My apple, my dinner for the night, fell out of my sleeping bag and was missing. Maybe his parents stole it and ate it. Maybe his parents were Adam and Eve. Maybe this was the first baby to ever exist. Unlike now, I had perfect vision that night. The baby smelled like newness and hope and the potential for all that was beautiful. I was the one who stole your apple, he says, twitching. He is an inch taller than I. His skin is weathered by sun and his hair is bleached blonde by sea. I need to extinguish my cigarette against the brick wall as I am cautious of his once baby lungs, even though we all had baby lungs once. He grabs my copy of the book and looks through it. His grimy fingers stain each page of The Moon is Always Female. Sometimes I shapeshift as a cat on a crescent moon, he tells me, putting in his dentures. Then he grins. He hands the book back. I notice slight stains of saliva on the pages as my legs slowly grow numb. I look at the cover and it matches his image. He even has the same green eyes as the cat and a Cheshire smile like the crescent moon. Time to tap the screen so the vowels turn over, the baby winks. I would have voted for you. He's referring to the last day of camp when the pretty blonde girl got voted most likely to follow Vanna White's footsteps, while I got voted most well behaved. Not getting the Vanna White vote messed me up for decades. He sinks his dentures in an apple he has in his pocket. Saliva drips down his grin. He gives me the sly eye. Want to go camping and see the stars?
Tammy, that was fabulous. You had me at Bert and Ernie onesie, among many other really awesome lines in that poem. Cool prompt. Brendan is a fantastic teacher, and you never know what he's going to ask you to do. I'm not sure he does either, and it always ends up being something really unique and ground that hasn't been trodden on before, I should say. So that's really cool. It's really nice to see you again. Thanks so much for coming back.
Thank you so much.
Round of applause for Tammy Haddis. Two more readers than our featured reader, Erin Mizrahi. Carrie Cox, you are on deck. Please welcome Jeffrey Bryant. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello. Two poems. First one, I grew up half-priced. God dangled before me, an embarrassment of itches, singing of trombones and the long-haired boys. Mother watched Nixon dissolve in brown tap water while stitching springtime into needlepoint, reading her daily Jesus softly, washing the stains out of bad news. She always let the salesmen in, their brushes, their vacuums, their suitcases full of death. She just wanted more humans in her days. In science class, I asked, is the sun always on? Mother was sunshine, Dad said between his apologies. And then one day the earth split and took her and promised nothing but to enfold. When the sun was off, I wondered if anything had blossomed that day. Second poem. I remember dissolving in your hands to the sacred sounds of the pain in Judy Garland's voice, falling into a bed that must have been yours. Mine was such lovely flesh. You circled all our memories from scar to scar. Open me now and stand back because poems hide in my plasma. and metaphors stain carpets, tripping the light sestina. I'll rise and fall like the first time I entered you and heard hymns pole dancing around your vocal cords. Let's hide from destiny and kiss at the bottom of this poem, in this nocturnal stanza, down where we burn our last maps to stay warm. Thank you.
Did you, in fact, say tripping the lights, Sestina?
I did indeed.
I often have a hard time pulling a single line out of your work because it's all so good, but that one definitely jumped up to the top and said, "Hello, here I am."
Thank
Th-
you.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Always fantastic to hear your work. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Jeffrey Bryant. On deck is our featured reader, Erin Mizrahi. Please welcome now Carrie Cox. Hello, Carrie.
Hi everyone, happy Tuesday, happy poetry night. I'm excited to be here as always. I have a couple poems for you. The first one is called Primordial Baby Food. Drowsy, droozy drugs that soothe me and all the cracks you see right through me, burning candles to the making, naming all the baking flames inhaled like hours that left me unashamed, spoiled and tame. Were you inside the fabric that I'm fabricated from, plunging those darkened depths I'm medicated from? Chaos theories keep claiming my numb want of coming undone. I can't remember if Eden was a place or just an idea we tried to run from. Eggshell thin like atmosphere. I'm crazy between my newfound clear, more milky than near. A membrane we twin flame, no windstorm to blow this flicker out. I'm blushing head to tail as the animal I dream about infiltrates my waking cells with cockiness and clout. A fur-fed flesh mess dressed for wearing out. Salt and sweat and two bright lights make your moans melt just right. I taste the beams of your brand new light. Snuggle your soul into happy and whole. Chase your smile like a handful of dice I'm dying to roll in a garbled gamble. I wave my heart around like dirty money, waiting for your need to come and summon the hum in my tummy. Run your gun over the ammunition I hide from every other body like a hive of hidden honey while the very constructs disappear, both the universe and the seer, provoking the smoking sting of vanishing veneer, butterfly affected into a tsunami, rocked back into the way. You always come and calm me. My next poem is called A Phoenix Choir. Hallelujahs howling from my haphazard throat come galloping forward, even though there's no bridge across the moat. Every receding feeling comes creeping like I'm kneeling on a bed of rice and pine needles in a forest I once lived. You were there too in this recreation in my mind, and you had a lot more sunlight to give. Gargantuan ways I learned to pray with hands smaller than average. Microscopic days I laid angry on glass, some specimen gone maverick. Holy hymns come singing down the hallways of my chest. My eyes fluttery, flickering, speaking in tongues without rest. I'm more than buried in this Bible, more than cursed or blessed. Every Delilah with a pair of scissors knows a Samson that confessed to having holes in the heart-shaped pump that keeps us circulating, and veins and arteries hum and thump like slushing music, like ears on fire, face flushed fevery. a phoenix choir, rising back up from embers like these psalms that just won't die. Even if the voice stumbles in staccato stuttering, I can't find a way to lie about the gods I threw my dollar bills to, the scams, the whores, the backwards deals, the minor priests and policies, the apostles both imagined and real, the writing on the walls of kings just before they fall, sketched sloppy by that invisible hand that doesn't whisper anymore, these prophecies of pandemonium making martyrs of us all. Thank you.
Harry, thank you. The gods I threw my dollar bills to. Well done. Great poems tonight. Thank you for being here. Round of applause for Carrie Cox. All right. On deck after our featured reader will be Linda V.E. Crawford, which leads us now to our featured reader, Erin Mizrahi. Erin, I'm really happy that you're here. I met Erin a few months ago at a reading in Long Beach called the Long Beach Poetry Festival, where I got to be in a room with a bunch of great poets, some of whom I was moved to ask to be here in this space. Erin was one of those. Lucky us, she said yes. Erin is the co-founder of the online publication called Cobra Milk, which you can visit at cobramilk.com, where a little bit of interesting tidbit. Her title there, this is her job at Cobra Milk. She is the Scorpio in chief. So do with that what you will. It sounds like a fun job to have. Erin, I know we all like do our best to try to get a book out and try to get people to accept our books, and sometimes it feels like there's like a lot of time between those successes, which I think is par for the course. Accepting the no's in between the yeses when we're out there submitting our work. So it's momentous to tell you that Erin has two chapbooks coming out this year in 2026. One called To What End on Ethel Press, which we'll have a link to later, and another one called I'm Doing My Best to Make Everything Holy, which is a phenomenal title coming out also this year on Faint Line Press. And a few years ago, she is an author of the book that was released a few years ago, a micro chapbook called If We Break, Where We Break, How We Break. Wow, with titles like those, just to get you going before you even get to the poems, that's pretty amazing. Erin is a writer, a teacher, a collaborator. She has a doctorate in comparative literature and media from USC. Fight on. I have no particular connection to USC. I just know that when you hear USC, you're supposed to say fight on. So I've now done that. And has received fellowships from Asylum Arts and the Institute for Jewish Creativity. Erin, I'm thrilled that you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our featured reader, Erin Mizrahi.
Thank you so much, Rick. This is an incredibly beautiful community. I just want to say I feel very honored to be invited into this space. Thank you, Rick, for like putting this together and bringing us all together and hosting this every week. I think that's amazing. Really just like so important today. And thank you to everybody who read and who's going to read. I've been really enjoying hearing your work. This is really, really special. You can see if you want to see my kid popped on the Zoom. This is the kind of bouncy one. So I've got a bunch of poems for you. The first one I'm going to read is a poem I wrote when I moved to Honolulu for 1 year with my husband and son when my son was 8 weeks old. We lived there for a year. This poem is titled, I'm Living on an Island, which is a metaphor for how I feel, but is also an actual island. I'm behind on my everything. I've been tired for generations. Most days, I don't know what day it is. Slept through a workshop on motherhood and capitalism And I'm certain that means something about vulnerability and how now that I'm just milk and lullaby, all I want is to make you laugh when you ask how I'm doing. You ever just want to watch videos of coral spawning, a whole constellation underwater, thinking no one is ever hydrated and even the sea is losing itself? This next poem, Rick's already heard this one. I read this at the Long Beach Fest. This is one of my favorite poems. It is titled "To My Neighbors Who Never Pick Their Pomegranates." You always leave them on the trees to rot, and it pains me to see this every fall. Those gorgeous pinkish red orbs like pinkish red planets become hollowed, a reminder that time passes too quickly, don't you think? Don't they say something about how the days are long, but the years are short? And I don't know what to think, except that I should have been saving those pomegranates, or somebody should. Somebody, not me. I've got more pressing things to do. There's always more pressing things to do. I need to sign my baby up for preschool. There's one right down the street in the old Petco. Maybe not that one. I need more time, and there isn't time, and it's Tuesday, and the Jews are out walking, which means it's a holiday, and it's always a holiday, and I'm a terrible Jew because I can't tell you which holiday, and who feels much like celebrating anyway. Have you heard? There's some messed up stuff happening at the Salton Sea and also, well, everywhere. And the moon's wobbling or lost its wobble, and experts say we might be going the way of Venus, and it's hard to keep up with every piece of earth we are mourning these days. I like that song these days, by the Velvet Underground. I like Nico's voice. She sounds like autumn singing, like leaves falling, like winter knocking slowly at the door. Who's at the door? Probably Amazon. Probably my downstairs neighbor again to tell me she can hear my boy playing. She would rather not have to hear my boy playing. And I would rather not have to live in a building with someone who hates the sound of a child playing. Does nobody remember? We are all still surviving. This next poem I wrote about AWP. AWP, for those that, I know there's a few. I roped some people in here that are not poets. It's the big writer conference that happens every year. And it's coming up. It's been on my mind a little bit. I'm not going, but I have been thinking about it. So I thought I'd read this poem. This was from a couple years ago. It's called Guzzle While Attending AWP as Marcy Vogel. Marcy cancels this year, but she gifts me her registration. And I should expect this. How poets are often so tired and in need of water and sunshine, and the opposite of Seattle in winter. I have always been a terrible liar. So I tell them at the registration booth as they scan my QR code, I tell them, this is not me. It's not me. They tell me they don't care. They simply don't care. And now I'm walking the book fair as Marcy Vogel, and I wonder if I even pass as a Marcy. And I smile at the people wearing badges with names which are probably their own. Red Hen Press is so happy to see me. N+1 says I was their favorite 5th grade teacher. I am an imposter, bringing many small joys to this room so wide and white. The first conference I attend in years, and I am somebody else, and I proclaim it is I, Marcy Vogel, and the rain stops. And a stack of books curls up beside me and purr, they wish they were mine. I splash through the halls. I am a fish in water, but also out of water, as it were, as the saying goes. Have I always had these fins? I don't know. My tail knocks over the Paris Review booth, and everyone applauds. There are fireworks. What fine commentary. What timely performance art. Here is a book contract. Here is a large bowl of strawberry starburst. Here is a bell you can ring. And now I'm recalling an art history lecture from undergrad. My professor's laser pointer directed at a slide with a bowl of persimmons, which she named the fruitiness of the essence of the fruit. And I'm sure I was all giggles, how silly, how I was so young and couldn't see how nothing lasts. And we're all pretending not to see the bright orange grief, and how easily or not easily at all we can shed a name. This next poem I wrote after doing, I don't know what prompted this, but I did this like real deep dive on Google on jellyfish and the moon jelly. I think it actually came from like a bedtime book I was reading my son. And then I don't know, I just got curious and then it led to a whole thing of me learning moon jelly facts. So this is the moon jelly. Have I already broken a promise? What do I know about life underwater? On the radio, they're talking about Anna Mendieta and what's his name, and asking that old question again. Can we separate the art from the artist? I think not. In another life, I was so very employable. In a yet other life, I waited for the azaleas to bloom and the momentum to leave. A group of jellyfish is called a bloom. For $200 a scoop, you can eat light. I mean, glow-in-the-dark jellyfish ice cream. Fresh moon jellies taste like an oyster disappearing on your tongue. There are many things I wish I didn't know. If you slice a moon jelly in two, it will become two moon jellies. They possess the power of regeneration. I have grown a new organ twice. This is not the same. I take my mom to the ER and learn it's at least 5 hours to triage. There is nowhere else to go, and we wait. I thought I would have more life skills by now. Moon jellies are harmless. You can pick them up by their backs, a bowl of smooth light. At my uncle's funeral, they release a dozen white doves, which are actually white pigeons, but nobody likes pigeons, so they just say they're doves. These are unprecedented times. At a gala, I tell George Lucas about my dissertation, when I should tell him about the screenplay I wrote when I was 8 years old, titled Jellyfish: The Worst Nightmare, where a jellyfish exposed to toxic waste survives on land because of its mutations, and it glides into people's bathtubs because it missed being cradled by water. And the water makes it grow, and it wants friends, but it has none. And someone was startled seeing it take a bubble bath and decided to name it Eugene. And it really liked the name Eugene. And it wanted to live a good and simple life, but it couldn't stop growing. And its tentacles were miles long at first, and then light years, and how from the next galaxy over, it must have looked like a giant braid made of stars and light shaking loose the world, and how helpless we are when we love. All right, I am going to read just 2 pieces. I think I have 3 more for you. I'm going to read just a little excerpt from my debut chapbook, which I'm very excited about. Rick, thank you for mentioning. To What End, which is coming out, I think, the end of this month or the beginning of February. And I actually wrote it. It was kind of this like postpartum project where when I was living in Hawaii and was feeling very isolated on my island, chilling with my baby, I was getting all of these emails from Nancy Pelosi, and I was just like so sleep deprived and thought it would be a really fun project to like imagine an actual correspondence between us. So it's a very strange book. It's very experimental. It's a little bit dreamy. But that was the premise of this book that's coming out. So I'm just going to read just this one little bit from it so you can get a taste. Subject. So this is Nancy to me. Subject. As of 8 p.m. Erin, I have just returned home from a most restorative happy hour with the comrades. We engaged in a spirited round of karaoke, Erin. When I sang Sweet Caroline, it was like I was singing with another voice, a voice borrowed from the depths of historical rage. It welled up inside me, and I had to let it out, Erin. The applause I received was well worth the expenditure of leisure time. It's okay to give yourself a little break. It's okay. Yours in song, Nancy. And my reply, Nance, my karaoke song is Sean Paul's Temperature. You probably could have guessed that. The first time I went to a karaoke bar, I was 14 and selected Bohemian Rhapsody. I was too young to understand what karaoke was really for. Nance, I didn't realize Bohemian Rhapsody was the song that never ends. During the 10 or 20 minutes of instrumental time, I began to glide across the stage, tapping my feet and moving in a circular motion. It must have looked like some strange dance, but really, I was feeling around for a trap door. In that moment, I felt very betrayed by Queen, a band I newly loved, and betrayed by my elders, who had not prepared me to choose better. Someone must have taken pity on me because suddenly the song stopped and Suavemente blared through the speakers like the antidote we all needed, and my slate was wiped clean. Yours, E. One more little email exchange and then a short poem for you. This is subject as of 12 p.m. from Nancy. Everything, and I mean everything, just changed, Erin. The now world is not the same world we've been living in. It's time to wake up and open your eyes and your heart chakras and your wallets and give what you can to the cause while there is still a cause to give to. Not everything is a poem, Erin. Sometimes a rib cage is just a rib cage. Nancy. And my reply. Nance, today I sat on the kitchen floor and wept while eating a Luna bar. Why do I feel like I can tell you anything? Yours, E. One more poem for you. This is, I missed another deadline, but it's okay. It's really okay, which is also a mantra that I like to say to myself all the time. And it's for the best. My CV is just a list of sensations, and my author bio is a photograph of a fainting couch, and it's okay. And my partner reported fraud when I used his credit card to buy cellulite cream, and it's okay. It's really okay. But now I'm blacklisted from Instacart, and I asked my mom to use her Instacart to send groceries to our apartment, but our address was blacklisted too. And so the driver was redirected to a dying lake. Not the lake you're thinking about, it was a different one. And now dying lake geese and dying lake ducks are feasting on my kiwis and pink lady apples, and their legs are the smoothest legs you have ever seen, no cellulite in sight, and how we're all a little bit like Eric Carle's very busy spider, clinging to our little fence post while all the world is going by, and how suddenly we are plunged into the night of our very own webs, and what should I be for Purim? Thank you so much.
Erin, I don't know how to express how much I enjoyed that. That was from beginning to end really delightful and fun and interesting. Um, I would like to express on behalf of all of us the jealousy of the experience of you getting to live in Honolulu for a year, number one. I do love that Pomegranates poem, the stream of consciousness of it, probably secretly something about you referring to yourself as a bad Jew is quite enticing as well. I'm very confident that you could pass yourself off as a Marcy, and I think it was Rashi who originally said, "Be the Marcy you want to see in the world." So take that to heart. Um, my tail knocks over the Paris Review booth. Man, your correspondence with Nancy Pelosi, I hope she gets to read that someday. She's not doing anything these days. You might as well just actually send it to her. Really wonderful set of poems. Thank you so much for being here. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'm going to paste some stuff into the chat and share the screen to show the broadside that I made for the poem that you read. I'm living on an island. I didn't know what island you were referring to, so I just went nuts and put Manhattan
I love it. I used to
on.
live there.
See,
That's
maybe that's it. Maybe somehow I knew that. I don't know.
beautiful.
And I started thinking about Manhattan as an island and being surrounded by people, but it feeling like an island. And that's how the visuals for this came about. People can download this now at the Cobalt Poets website, poetrysuperhighway.com/cobalt. Click on broadsides or just click on the link that I pasted in the chat. This is how we compensate our featured poets. Hoping that you'll get one of these and send a tip, just like you might put some money in the hat at a reading, at an in-person reading. Today we have Venmo as the hat. Erin's Venmo ID is in the chat, so please consider tipping Erin for her reading. There's a link to pre-order her upcoming chapbook To What End at Ethel Zine that you can check out there as well. A link to her website, erinmizrahi.com, as well as a link to Cobra Milk, cobra-milk.com. So lots of ways to electronically keep giving yourself fixes of Erin Mizrahi and her wonderful work. Erin, thank you so much. I really, really dug that so much.
Thank you so much. This is amazing. You guys are so amazing. I'm really so excited to be here.
All right. Round of applause for our featured reader, Erin Marcy Mizrahi. So glad that you were here. I will quickly mention next week, our featured reader will be Elemental. Is that right, or is it Neil Deswani? I'm gonna have to check. I think I got confused with the calendar. I thought it was Elemental. I'm gonna get back to you on that. But it's someone, and they're gonna be great. And it's either Elemental or Neil Deswani, both of who have been here in Cobalt Poets before. So it's gonna be good either way. That leads us now to the rest of tonight's open reading. Here's who I have on the list in this order. Linda V.E. Crawford, Michael G. Hickey, Jasmine Vallejo, Love, Bill Gaines, Martin Parker, Cheryl Latif, Cathabella and Jackie, Melody Anderson Bermudez, Ken Scott, Jennifer Elise, Wang, and Dig Wayne, and me. If anyone would like to be added, please send me a message in the chat. As always, 2 poems maximum, less is more is the suggested time limit. Having said all that, Michael G. Hickey, you are on deck. Please welcome now Linda V.E. Crawford. Hello, Linda.
Good evening. Good evening. It's great to be here. May I share screen? There we go. And I will read just the one poem tonight. Whenever I look at this image of Louis Armstrong, I always wondered, did he play something? And if so, what? And I went searching in the Googles at one point, and I have never tracked down an answer. However, I have written a poem just imagining the fact that maybe something was played. So a little bit of an imagined love poem. And this, my poem was published last 2024, actually, in Moonstone Arts Center 27th Annual Ink Anthology. So here we go. Louis serenading at Hore Maquette, the place in the sky where the sun rises. To Lucille, I jazz my lips for you, curve them to caress your strength, envelop your protective love. For you, I swirl the flow of time, wet green or sand and desert life. Hear me kiss you with my notes. My constant, full, and forthright love vibrates with a lover's plea. Show me your lasting universe. To the Sphinx, see my forever wife gaze up at me. She sits, steadfast, luscious, erect, silent guard, enticing. Me into her, she into me, we into you. Preserve our essential trilogy. Send your son to our earth mothers. Hear us. Hear our trumpet peal of memories. Hear our eternal serenade. And I imagine that after viewing the photograph of Louis serenading his wife, number 4, she became the true and lasting love at the pyramids of Giza. And it was, the photo was taken on January 28th, 1961. So I thought I'd read it. Thank you for listening.
Our pleasure, Linda. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Always good to see you in this space and hear your voice. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Linda V.E. Crawford on deck. Jasmine Vallejo Love, please welcome Michael G. Hickey. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Rick. Wow, Linda, that was so cool. Okay, I've got 2 short poems. The first one is called Date Night. Buoyant optimism and abject despair meet at that amazing Thai place in downtown Tallahassee. Opposites attract by Paula Abdul plays on the jukebox in the background as waitresses balance trays, and one has 3 dessert plates carefully laid out on each arm. The couple agrees on date night next week to get tattoos on their respective right arms in a cursive design like calligraphy on fire, and they choose a quote by their favorite former college English teacher: "It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog." They smile and clink their tumblers of Cabernet Sauvignon to seal the deal. One glass half empty, one glass half full. Either way, the gambit's sizable gamble. They pushed all their chips to the middle of the poker table. That's the first one, and this one's shorter. This is called, this is also in my new book, Orgy at the Chinchilla Ranch, which I'll put in the chat if anybody's interested. This is called Judging a Book by Its Cover. At the hospital, candy stripers giggle as they change the old sailor's sheets. The WW2 battleship tattoo on his chest appears to be sinking. They also titter when they see the tattoo on his penis, Shorty. However, they do not laugh a week later when the old salt comes off anesthesia with a full-on erection that reads Shorty's Bar and Grill, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you.
Michael, thank you. I'm a fan of anything labeled Shorty. So there you go. I guess that would be funnier if we were in person and we could all see how incredibly tiny I am. So just take my word for it. Michael, thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Michael G. Hickey. On deck, Bill Gaines. Please welcome now Jasmine Vallejo Love. Hello, Jasmine.
Hi there. Can y'all hear me? Awesome. So I've got 2 poems for you. They're new poems that I've written. I've been thinking a lot about the people that I've lost in my life. And so they're a little bit different kinds of poems for me. So I figured if I were going to try them anywhere, it would be with this group. So the first poem is called With Respect to My Abuelitas. I didn't love my grandmothers with the fervor deserved when of this realm. A preteen, I saw only what I feared. Adherence to a man's whim, remiss to speak the language, poor with 5 kids each, always demanding something.
Ignorance, I believed to mimic them meant cowtailing to patriarchy. Only with age, once they were gone, did I see their calculation. The strategy behind Nana's hustle, Mama's skill at negotiation, wielding the Puerto Riqueña-ness like a machete, clearing a path to navigate a pre-feminist, anti-immigrant, anti-Black, insert-ism here society. A numbers runner, Nana's pot-bottom burnt skin dominated in the dangerous world of underground gambling. House dresses, head wraps, coches, and chango macho cologne served as camouflage as she worked to provide. Husband taken by heart attack, 3 of 5 kids by AIDS, left to manage a household, raise 5 grandkids alone. Mama radiated floral notes and joy despite Papa's emotional abuse. Backbone stuck straight, forbidden from working outside the home, stretched $1 to feed hungry mouths, understood her light skin privilege, taught us art, dominoes, gamification, when to smile, mask, when to bluff. Neighbors first, then tethered by family, faith, the altars that wafted of agua florida, I watched them suffer and dance in the same day. Laugh but never cry, barely sleep, always at a beck or call. I imagine unvoiced pain morphed into the cancer that took them a few years apart. Breast for one, bone for the other. A matriarch-sized hole burned in memory, a void screaming regret. I should have asked questions, watched closely, absorbed their strength, appreciated the wisdom. I should have said, I love you more. So thank you for that. This last poem is called I Wish the Ghost of My Best Friend Would Visit Me Again. And it's for my friend Tiffany. On a lonely stretch of highway somewhere between Montreal and Middlebury, the Pontiac crashed into large drainage pipe. Sleep deprived, you drifted off, as did the driver and other passengers, instantly killed. Would I have been awake, able to keep y'all up with my constant yapping? Had I gone on the trip as promised, perhaps you'd be here, entertaining the world with your songs. I still think about how, after you died tragically at 19, the air left my lungs, the pain drowned me, suffocated joy. Swallowed by depression, I languished. Living felt like a betrayal. I still think about how, after bedridden weeks, you visited me. The kindness in your eyes, the whisper, it's not your fault. I took in your smile, felt your arms wrap around my weakened body. You urged me to take advantage of the life that remained, demanded I get up and out. Just breathe, you said. I owed you that. 25 years have passed, and I hope you are proud of the way I've lived, modeling your empathy, giving back, gifting art. The world is different now, harsher. You wouldn't like it. I'd hate to interrupt your peace, but dream of you appearing to help me navigate this shit show, to hug me, to give me a sign, to tell me if I got things right. Please show me your shadow at least. Let me hear your hum, smell your perfume I never got the name of. Thank you.
What a treat to have you back here, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being here. You made our place better tonight. Thank you so much. Please come again. Round of applause for Jasmine Vallejo Love, one of our recent featured readers who wowed us, and we all wowed with our how awesome we all are. So she decided to come back to be with us. Thank you, Jasmine. On deck, Martin Parker. Please welcome now Bill Gaines. Hello, Bill.
Hello. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I needed to clear my throat. I apologize. Hi, everyone. I have two poems. First one is called Sing for the Weekend. Magenta jelly fills the donut with pride, elevating its status in the morning beams to beckon and charm this zombie like ambrosia from the crypt. One bite makes two corners, and corners get dipped in coffee, while songbirds outside sing for the weekend in this slow, sublime routine. End of piece. That's number one. Number two is called Doctors and Dogs. Hands and teeth to tug on a fur coat bring confidence and dignity to doctors and dogs. It's raining fear outside, dear sir. So much howling in the wind. But forces compel, magnets pull, desires burn. Hands and teeth to lock the door tight bring comfort, not cure. And that's it for me tonight. Thanks, everybody.
Bill, thank you. Sporting a hat today. That's new.
Yeah, I was cold.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It has been getting, as I mentioned, you might not have been here, but like, as low as 50 here in Southern California.
Yeah, that's hat and scarf weather, man.
Right. I hear you. Well, stay warm. Thank you for your work and thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Round of applause for Bill Gaines. On deck, Cheryl Latif. Please welcome now Martin Parker. Hello, Martin.
Hello again, Rick. Yeah, I can feel you. Below 50 here in DC, I want a hat. Below 60, I want a hat. But it's down in the teens here, though, so I need more than one hat sometimes. I've got a couple short poems recently put together in my Tuesday writing workshop. This first one is called Locksmith. The riddle wriggles into my brain, its tendrils tickling my neurons in vain until I settle and simmer down and leisurely listen to the sound of summer residing beneath all the rain as shadows shift and shimmer again, while cylinders slide through mists so dense, then click into place, revealing their sense. Then this one is called Flammable. This room replete with tinder boxes is ready to ignite with memories of lives who stretch back into a maze of dimensions that hide in this hive in the hex-laden sky. These walls once moved as minerals shifted. Now they remain quite stagnant and stale. Paint and floorboards slowly crumbling, wait for a final inevitable fail. As foundations balanced on tender ties may soon go up in flames. Thank you so much. And I'll put my usual links in the chat, including a link for this Thursday night on ESWA, Eastern Shore Writers Association. Our Poetry Global Network is being featured with our three new poets that we've published collections for coming up. Going to be a book launch on our channel next Sunday also. So I'll put some links in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Martin. And I just, you reminded me, I keep forgetting to give this warning, but our Zoom reading is flammable, so please be careful. Martin, thank you so much for reminding me of that. Thank you for your work. Do you work with Eastern Shore Writers Association?
Not with them particularly, although I'd like to go to their workshops sometimes, but I work with Poetry Global Network. We've just put out 3 collections that are available now and be introducing them at ESWA this Thursday. And then also at our Poetry Global Network show on Sunday. So I'll put those links in the chats in case somebody wants to come check them out.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, you probably know that Tara Elliott, who
Yes.
is the president of Eastern Shore Writers Association, was a regular at Cobalt for a long time, so it's
yes, I've
always
definitely heard her
exciting.
here recently, and really enjoyed her workshops that she does and hosts. Yeah,
Sweet. All right, cool. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
being here, Martin. Good luck with what you're working on there, and a round of applause for Martin Parker. Okay, on deck is the collab with Cathabella, Jackie, and Flute Rick. Please welcome now Cheryl Latif. Hello, Cheryl.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. I miss Tara Elliott, so I'm glad you mentioned her. It's a name that brings me many good memories. I have two poems tonight. The first one is called Looking Back. We shared a Southern California sky from opposite sides of the city. The lives of our lives hidden beneath play. I wonder now if our reverie didn't meet in that place no one dare name. If you saw my wicked dance with death, took his seduction as your own. I ask myself, what do we talk about? How do we meet? Why do we drift apart? How did I come to learn of your fate so long past? We splashed about in the same fickle currents, yet I emerged and you went under. I imagine you like wolf, slowly and with purpose, walking into the water. But I know you chose a gun instead, leaving others to pick up the pieces. No doubt about their trigger fingers. Thank you. And this piece, sorry. Oops. Hang on. My computer's giving me all kinds of stuff tonight. This piece is entitled Postmarks. I read your letter again this morning. You never say where you are, just that you are enjoying the continent, missing the soft curves of my body. It's the same letter time and again, only the postmark reveals a different story. These absences come and go while I unfold letters, search for something new, a place for me between the lines. In today's mail, another note. I think I'll leave it unopened. Read the postmark. Make up my own story.
What a fantastic way to deal with mail, Cheryl. I'm going to see if I might do that tomorrow with whatever comes into the mailbox and respond accordingly. Pay what I want to pay for the bills, without even looking at them. I think this is the way. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank everyone.
Round of applause for Cheryl Latif. Thanks for being here, Cheryl. On deck is Melody Anderson Bermides. Please welcome now Cathabella and Jackie and Rick. Hello to all three of you.
Hello,
Rick.
hello, everyone. So happy to be here. And Erin, we loved your reading. Really, really enjoyed it. Here is our poem. This is an apple poem. At least the beginning is very strongly apple. And I have to tell you that these are Tonka sequences that we develop as a group. Jackie and I are part of it, and Kazuaki, who some of you have met a few times, and he'll be back. He's in Japan, and he's a wonderful poet and the host of the Sanford Goldstein Museum, who is the father of English language Tanka poetry. So he built the museum, built the house, and he was the inspiration for this. So we'll read his poem at the beginning, his verse, and then we follow it. He's a very strong inspiration. Finally eaten an apple that lost crispness and juice, for I kept it too long. Jackie.
The apple, once crisp, now creased, my least favorite fruit, despite Neruda's oath.
Now, have you heard of a Kisabella apple? It almost doesn't sound real, but I had an apple and I Googled what it was, and it was called Kisabel. You can look. It has like sort of pink on the inside, and it's very sweet, kind of looks like a peach if you just see the picture of it. So Kisabel, he called me.
Like your name.
Since I learned French from an early age. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Catabella. And our favorite Peter. You want to read Peter?
Read no.
When thoughts and husbands in time become tiresome.
Yes, and stale.
Reach into the barrel.
For a fresher apple.
That's Peter. And here's Siggy. Is Jackie? I guess you'll have to read Siggy.
Gone by apples, stewed for sauce, lumps included, French cooked delight, with sugar and cinnamon.
We're so happy Siggy at least said hello. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to her, but she's having gallbladder problems. And she also, her hearing aids are being fixed, so she couldn't really hear. But she still persists, and she comes to our meetings and reads and writes with us. So Kazuaki says it's good to dance. Anyway, anytime, anywhere, whether you drink or not. Kazuaki.
Fallen leaves dancing in the wind make a circle. I still remember the teacher's voice.
4 a.m. I resume my Tai Chi after he's dead. My dear old teacher dances in my hand. I always use his video. And so I see him dancing in my hand. He taught at Caltech. Siggy, not coordinated. She dances to her own tune, her own rhythm too. The joy on her face, worth it. We avoid flailing arms and legs. Kazuaki, few moms are aware that every child in the sandbox plays in its absolute solitude. I knew it. I knew it even before I saw the evidence. Decades later, with him, I was alone.
How many times I tell my therapist I am not antisocial, just writing a poem.
Do you want to read that one? My nephew returned from UK after 2 years' stay. Why am I reluctant to call him?
Reluctant to join a crowd watching the game. I believe in destiny between individuals.
Old familiar streets of London. I go back with the love of my life to where I've never been. Captabella. Thank you
That
for
was
everyone.
fabulous.
I love
Thank
hearing
you,
that. Thank you,
Captain.
Jackie. And here's Rick.
This I've never played for you. It's a replica of an ancient Native American flute found in Arkansas in around 1100 AD. And it's cane. It's not made of wood. This cane has tiny little holes, so it's quiet and good for me to use to play with poets when
How did they make such tiny holes?
I don't know. No, 1100. You'd think they'd. I don't know.
What do you think they were?
No, it makes sense because they didn't invent the larger hole until the 1800s.
They did. Yeah, it took years.
All holes before then were very small in every situation.
This front piece was missing, broken off, and it's recreated.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Cathabella. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for the poets that you represented in absentia. Good to have your collab with us tonight. Round of applause to
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Good work.
All right. On deck is Ken Scott. Please welcome now Melody Anderson Bermudez. Hello, Melody.
Great. That's a hard act to follow, but I'm going to try. I got stuck on, I go back to where I've never been in my life. But anyway, my poem is called Fat Cats. Feral cats are fat in our neighborhood. Black on green, black cat lolling on green grass, orange on green, orange cat lolling on green grass. Pastor's wife worries about pregnant feral cat. Where can she go? Why doesn't she go? Cutest kittens you've ever seen. Pastor's wife showed them to us. Pastor's wife, proud grandmother, godmother to kittens. Puts an old blanket under the bush. Someone feeds them, she says, and I swear it isn't me. Teenage kittens not as cute, rebellious, flying everywhere, run around neighborhood. What do I do? Pastor's wife asks. Be thankful, we say. You'll never have to worry about mice or rats again. Praise the Lord, Pastor's wife says. I am one teenage gray kitten jumping over bush. Let them be, we say. Our fat calico cat, meow meow, keeps all the fat feral cats away. If they are not in our backyard, they don't bother us. Feral cats too fast for foxes and coyotes. We prefer pulling packages of outdated meat from neighbors' garbage cans. Feral cats are fat in our neighborhood. Gray kitten full grown now, gray on green, gray cat hauling on green grass. Gray cat comes home to pastor's wife, pregnant. Why me? Pastor's wife asks, shaking out an old blanket, putting it under the bush. Why not? We say. You could catch them, feed them, tame them, we say. But then again, they do seem to be happy. Feral cats are fat in our neighborhood. That's it.
Melody, thank you very much. I love a good cat poem. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thanks for being here. Round of applause for Melody Anderson Bermudez. On deck, we just have a few more left. Ken Scott, Jennifer, Elise Wang, Dig Wayne, and me. If I missed anyone, if anyone wants to be added, now's your last chance to let me know. So Jennifer, you're on deck. Please welcome Ken Scott. Hi, Ken.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I've got two pieces that I'm going to do. Hold on just a second. The first piece that I'm going to do is called Reality. Distractions are subtractions, preventing the fulfillment of actions that would produce beneficial attractions in the alchemy of reality. Inward thoughts turned outward by hours of doom scrolling and porn scrolling, like digital addicts rolling up the umpteenth one and puffing their futures away. Social media prison playgrounds used by diabolical oligarchic despots as substitutions for the meaningful evolution of the people. Reducing the masses to sheeple and asses is the ultimate crime against humanity, and the insanity of avaricious global tyrants is the most consummate tragedy of a nightmare that has monetized human life for countless centuries of mortality. Nevertheless, the reality has always been paintbrush to canvas mental, disciplined thought life governing fundamental cycles of cause and effect, affecting one's existential residence on that sacred polarity of light and darkness, good and evil, life and death. Every breath, yet another majestic symphony of celestial reality in the heart of the all. Kings rise and fall by the rhythm of the mundane, a plain of desolation, parched as the burning deserts of greed. A life lived on the wrong polarity, the darkness, the evil, the death. The devourer of all breath, scorching the soul with cold blindness, abysmal harbingers of wretchedness from a global empire that refuses to see. Yet the simplicity resides in oneness with the infinitesimal infinite, with the limitless wellspring of possibility, with the fountain of life for all reality, thought spanning galaxies in the briefest eternity. The water of life ever flowing from bright palaces on the highest verdant mountaintops in the midst of the great celestial cycles. Our most ancient ancestors knew these places well, though the darkness has blinded our memory for countless generations. With the meditations of the inward journey, the eye is opened and can thus truly see reality. That's that one. Thank you. Thank you. The next one is also a metaphysical piece. This one is in a work that I'm still trying to get published called Toward the Infinitesimal Infinite, which is along the same lines. This one is called The Golden Temples of Transformation. The simplicity of reality consists of geometric fractal expression to and from the infinitesimal infinite. With the golden ratio as key and foundation, the intelligent design of reality within the mind of the all contains correspondence between the above and the below, between the within and the without, between the before and the after, with existential cycles numberless as the sand, singing in perfect balance, structure, order, and harmony. Each and every quantum particle is a cycle of causation locked in a perpetual vortex according to the pattern of its word. The cycle is the wave that resonates with its word, and the quantum particle is the wave in stasis, the vortex that forms the building blocks of all things. A single grain of sand contains worlds of cycles within worlds, and the sum total of all words within those worlds is the word of that single grain, its own unique sound, its own individual pattern. The eye of your inner mind sees all words, and the womb of your deep one speaks the language of the infinitesimal infinite. The fruit of her womb changing words into other words according to the pattern of your seed within the womb. The duration of the celestial pregnancy is irrelevant to the womb of your sleeping self, who dwells in the ever-present now, the briefest moment that is eternity. It could be 9 months, or 9 nanoseconds, or instantaneous, according to what you inwardly believe it should be. Nevertheless, the inevitable birth changes words into other words, realities into other realities by the pattern of your seed, determined by your lexicon of images within your deep one. It will surely come to pass. This is the Hieros Gamos of sacred alchemy, the mind of the all, who created everything. And humanity is the image of the all. We are the golden temples of transformation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ken, thank you. Interesting pieces that you brought to us tonight. I'm glad you've been able to come back the last couple weeks. The world is healing with your very presence, is what I'm saying.
I'm hoping that the two poems that I did would bring existential celestial light to our inward being to deal with some of the demons in this world, because the only way that we can overcome these natural forces of darkness is with the supernatural light. And that's what I hope that these pieces brought. I sincerely hope.
Beautiful sentiment. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for being here. Round of applause for Ken Scott. On deck, Dig Wayne. Please welcome now Jennifer Elise Wang. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, I've got two. So the first was inspired by, or I'm bringing back an old one that because Alex Honnold just climbed Taipei 101. I didn't get to see it, but I heard it was very stressful to watch it. And I did see Free Solo, which is the inspiration behind this poem. I will free solo my way through life. I declare as Alex Honnold surveys the opening pitch of his ascent. We all have our own El Cap, a dream we never cease to think about, no matter how galactic they seem, but some may pale upon planning, convictions thinned by the non-equivalent exchange of risk and reward. It is those who never waver at the ginormous mineral wall of life, which at first seems pristine and ungraspable, but contains the trace of a crack, no bigger than the shaft of a pencil, for us to wedge our fingers in between. We eyed our boulder problems and sent our bodies in an arc, contorting to give ourselves latitude to innovate and overcome. We get no band of brothers on the trails we are blazing. In fact, we stubbornly defy the concerns of those in our orbit, hoping they harbor no ill will because we cannot always lean on others, for whom we may have to wait when it's time to climb. We will not be deterred by pain akin to rough rocks slicing into palm, or a broken rib that keeps us from future chortles of celebration. It is the untouched face of never doing that will haunt us. The deaths of peers are not an omen, but the truth, because all of our lives will end by avalanche, be it of snow, rock, cancerous cells, or exhaustion. So when I watched Alex reach the summit, I knew I had enough of my tiny existence, defined by stagnant familiarity, and waiting for those who clicked and clapped validation. I will free solo my way through this life and find my bliss. And so something completely different. What I was watching over the weekend was the X Games, because I'm a big fan of snowboarding and free skiing, but it was hard because of what happened in the news and seeing people kind of happy and not acknowledge this. So I wrote about it in this poem. Snowboarders hate ice. It's why we're glad X Games is in Colorado and not the ice coast. Ice makes you slip. Ice makes you catch an edge. Ice hurts. Ice kills. I'm struggling with the ice cold response to the news in Aspen. I get the athletes needing to have ice in their veins to win the ice X Games created in lieu of traditional medals. But why is everyone else still sipping their ice cold beers and dancing to a remix of Ice Ice Baby like the government hasn't created a secret police? I thought snowboarders hated police like they hated ice patches, and icing on the shitty cake was the national anthem, and red, white, and blue lights painting the super pipe's icy sides. I sat my ass on the iced over ground and think of the icy response I got here for having skin the color of sand and not snow. Have I been iced out of the sport I love so much? But later I see a snowboarder compete with abolished ice on her hoodie, and the ice crusting over my heart thaws a little. Falling on ice is scary, confronting ice is scary, but we will not let either take away our love.
Jennifer, thank you. I caught the very end of Alex Honnold climbing up the building in Taipei, and it scared the hell out of me. And I also felt when he got to I didn't mean to give it away, but he got to the top and survived. I hope that doesn't ruin it for you. But like he just stood up there for way longer, like I mean that's a small little area, and I was pretty sure he was going to get up there, and then the wind was just going to take him away, and so even at success, it was terrifying. But yeah, it's if I don't know if you have Netflix, but you can watch it anytime you want, or if you
Yeah, I do want to catch it. And the people who told me it was stressful, they were professional snowboarders. So I mean, this was like out of this world for them.
yeah. Wild. I like going up to buildings and seeing the views from the top, but I prefer taking like the elevator, that's more my speed. But no one seems to be willing to make a Netflix special for me about that. Rick Lupert in another elevator. No extra equipment. Just him and the button. Anyway, uh, thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Jennifer Elise Wang.
Thank you.
Uh, On deck is me to close out the open reading. Please welcome now Dig Wayne. Hello, Dig.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everybody. This first poem, you're going to have to be patient with me. I wrote it a while ago and I've read it here before, but I wrote it backwards, just recently, just out of curiosity to see how it would read backwards. So I'm going to read it backwards. The title will be at the end. Now for shoulder, own my over, remain I dear, so been never. Has reflection, my gunpowder of smell flowers, melodies, cancerous, salt rock on control of outskidding radio car stock, uninvented, was it before country bro to harmonize guns, BB rifles, deer, shotguns, comfortable to the keys, the inherit to waiting clock courthouse of the face, the on-sit queens, prom pert while guests educated, and of flow the staunch pendants, madras, bleeding feathers, chicken country lane, two from protection, my forecried mother, my as potatoes, couch fried deep and eggs rubber of banquet, it like I and 18 jail city, the in eve Christmas celebrating clips roach, hot blue with handcuffs, knees aching there to thunderstorms bring that scarecrow's overweight with dancing cornfields, sack sad anger with drunk complexions, potholes snapping, axle dishes, cloudy tears, muddy hid sweat, factory teeth, baby, and trust and hope with pregnant girlfriends, steps, giant missteps, and fields and walls, the of out roots, my dig to Ohio to back went I signs stop in holes bullet. Wasn't easy. My mind wants to make sense of it, but it doesn't make any sense. This is the short one. It's a new one. It's called Murdering Angels. Foam marauders blow icy clouds of gluttony, tripping on stupidity as a crutch. Never existing all at once, strapped with see-through ears, toothy tongues ready to bust the baseball cap in your ass, brah. The shadow of blood bubbles pop in time like dangerous toy soldiers on acid, skidding to a stop on the way to eternity. When the God-given turret spins around and pushes your button, everything is AI. Nothing is true except your disbelief. Thank you.
Dig, thank you. Cool. Nice to have you back. Number one. Number two, when the first poem, I imagined the giant from Twin Peaks in the Black Lodge reading that, or like everyone in there, I guess, spoke backwards. You might consider throwing it in AI and having like the dwarf character just read it backwards or something.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't really see that show much, so, but I trust that it was popular.
It was pretty good, I think. I don't know if you're a David Lynch fan, but
I
one of
am.
my favorites. But
It's movies.
well, cool. Thank you for sharing that, and for being here. I think it's cool to find other ways to look at your own work and just see what comes up. It's a similar vein. A while back, I took a poem of mine that, years and years ago that was funny and used to read a lot and was popular, and I threw it into one of the translation engines to translate it into another language, and then took that language and translated it back into English, and it became a whole different thing, going through those steps. And it was just an interesting way to revisit your old
Yeah.
work. So I think it's cool that you did that.
Yeah, thank you very much. The thing that was funny about it was really hard to memorize. I was trying to memorize it for, just for as an exercise, and man, I just could not memorize it. It's interesting how your brain wants things to be logical. I gave up. I thought I can't do this. I just put it aside. Wasn't If I was getting paid for it, maybe I would have tried harder.
Well, we'll start a GoFundMe and see if we can get that going. Let us know your rate for that.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Dig, thank you so much for being here. Good to see you. Round of applause for Dig Wayne.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I'm going to close out the open reading with a couple of poems. The first one is from this book, High Moose Alert, my most recent collection. In this particular poem, Addie and I have just arrived in the city of Dawson City in the Canadian Yukon. It was the morning of our 20th wedding anniversary. This is the famous city which we've talked about here before. I think Carrie had a poem about it as well, where there's the bar where you can get the sour toe drink, which is a drink, a cocktail that has an actual mummified human toe in it. So this is where we are in this trip. It's called We've Arrived in Dawson City. The driver tells Tyrell to wait before making announcements because the nearby bus has the same frequency. Tyrell agrees because he doesn't want them to know his secrets. We're a couple 100 kilometers from the Arctic Circle. This time of year, the sun never sets. It used to be you could only get into Dawson by boat. Then the highway came, and the age of the paddle boats came to an abrupt end. You can go and see the paddle boat graveyard in the forest, if you'd like. We touch lips over the Klondike River like two Jack Londons in love. The Klondike and Yukon rivers met here. They haven't left each other's presence ever. When in Dawson, drink the toe. I overhear someone in the breakfast room at the hotel say, I had my hole and I lost it. That is a poem from High Moose Alert. Probably works just as well if you read it backwards. I don't know. We'll find out someday. This last poem is one I wrote for this week's Torah portion. It's a famous one. In Hebrew, it's Beshalach, which means when he sent. This is the portion when the story when the Israelites arrive at the sea and the sea opens up and they walk through and the Egyptians try to go through and the water closes on them. So it's one of these big famous moments. And the lines, the words when he sent are about when Pharaoh sent the Israelites out of Egypt. That's what's referring to. This is called Misty Egypt Colored Memories. When he sent us out of Egypt, and I couldn't mean the word us more sincerely. As they keep digging, they're starting to recognize our footprints. Fairy tales are becoming primary sources. When you think you know something so definitively for centuries, and then the shovels come and prove it's something else, your memories start to change. I've always remembered the walls of water and who is standing next to me at the mountain. But now I'm having visions of the road we took out of the narrow place. It was the long way, but they didn't want our physical bodies tainting up the Holy Land, just our memory. When he sent us out of Egypt, we went quickly. I left a pot roast in the oven. I became a vegetarian 3,000 years later in memory of that pot roast. It's all about memory. When he sent us out of Egypt, I took everything I knew. I still have it. Alrighty, people. There you go. That's our open reading and our featured reading and our whole Cobalt event for heaven's sake. I want to thank Erin Mizrahi for being a fantastic featured reader. Really fantastic. I really enjoyed your work so much, Erin. So glad you were able to be here with us. I pasted the stuff. I pasted in the chat earlier. You can tip Erin for her reading via Venmo at the ID that's there. You can download the broadside for her poem featuring the wrong island, but for God's sakes, it's an island at the Cobalt Poets website there on the broadsides page. When you're there, not only can you see all the broadsides ever published, and by the way, we're coming up to broadside number 700, and I just was able to confirm Kim Adonizio as our featured reader for that event, so that's going to be pretty cool. It's happening in March. So that's going on. You can, on that website, click on email list and get on our email list if you're not already on it. See the calendar of who's coming up, etc., etc., etc. Continuing on to what I've posted in the chat, there's a link, a pre-order link to Erin's upcoming chapbook, To What End, at ethelazine.com. You can find Erin on the web at her website, erinmizrahi.com, and the publication that she's the chief Scorpio of. I forget the exact title. I know Scorpio is in it there at cobra-milk.com. That's it. Next week, our featured reader will be Elemental. I confirmed it, as did other people in the chat. So that's going to be cool as well. Thanks everyone so much for being here. I'm going to click on the Ask All to Unmute button so everyone can commingle.
Great night, everybody. Really good
Yeah,
stuff.
Very
thank you,
nice.
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Erin, you
was a
were
great night,
fabulous.
Oh, thank
Really
you
good
so
job,
much.
Erin. Thanks for staying up with us and
Thank you
reading
so
your
much.
awesome words. That
Oh,
was
this
really
was
such a
wonderful.
great feature.
I'm gonna come back. This was amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
I hope
Rick,
you come
I
back, Erin. I know you're busy, Mom, but
I will definitely. Well,
we
Zoom
love to see you again. Your words
I
were
can
awesome.
tune in while my kids are here.
Rick, I will get in touch with you if I ever want to use Two Jack Londons in Love as a title of a collection.
There you
Because
go.
that's just fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm awfully tempted.
Please use it. I forgot to mention contextually, you may already know this, but Dawson City was like the central nexus of the gold rush. And it's also, and Jack London went there and had a cabin there. So that's kind of where that came out of. But thank you, Kevin.
All right, you guys, gotta get ready.
Nice
See
to
you all.
see you, Ken Scott. I haven't seen you in a while. It was good to see your face tonight.
I know it's been a minute, and it's good seeing you guys again too. I was here the last time, but it's because my trainer had me on Tuesdays. Now he switched to Monday, but there it is.
Okay, well, it was good
Okey-dokey.
seeing you.
All righty,
Thank you.
night night.
And hearing you. Good night.
Likewise, likewise. It was good hearing you again too.